play. So what does it mean to have this following, especially at this time of night, especially with it being cold and being the last match?
It means the world to have this community behind me in such a prestigious tournament.
Eala is already in the second round at Indian Wells, and she did not have to play a single match to get there. Her world ranking of 31 earned her a seed at the BNP Paribas Open, which means she gets a first-round bye, a free pass directly into the round of 64. No grinding, no nerves, no first-round opponent to worry about. She just walks straight in. And when you think about where she was just a few years ago, that fact alone is almost hard to believe. If you are new to this channel and you have not been following Eala's journey, now is the perfect time to subscribe. We cover her story every step of the way, every tournament, every ranking update, every milestone. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Because trust me, you do not want to be late to this story. Now, back to Indian Wells. The BNP Paribas Open starts March 4th. It is a WTA 1000 event, which sits just one level below the Grand Slams in terms of prestige and prize money. There are 96 players in the draw, and 32 of them are seeded. People call this tournament the fifth Grand Slam, and that nickname is not just for show. The draw is packed with the best players on the planet. You are looking at Aryna Sabalenka, Iga Swiatek, Elena Rybakina, Coco Gauff, Jessica Pegula, Jasmine Paolini, Amanda Anisimova, and defending champion Mira Andreeva. Basically, every serious name in women's tennis is in that draw. It is one of the most competitive fields of the entire year, and for the first time in her career, Eala is one of the 32 seeded players in it. That is her first ever seed at a WTA 1000 event. She locked it in at number 31 in the world at the seeding cutoff on February 23rd, sitting comfortably inside the top 32. And the ranking that got her there came from a run at the Dubai Tennis Championships that genuinely shocked a lot of people who were not already paying attention. In Dubai, she beat world number 8 Jasmine Paolini in straight sets. She pushed through to the quarterfinals. She picked up 215 ranking points in a single week. And when the new rankings came out, she had jumped from number 47 all the way up to number 31. That's 16 places in 1 week, the biggest jump of anyone on the WTA Tour that week. No one moved faster. That Dubai run did more than just move her ranking number. It completely changed what her Indian Wells tournament looks like before it even begins. Instead of fighting through a first-round match, she gets to skip it. She shows up fresh. She gets extra time to study whoever she's going to face in the round of 64. She saves energy for what is going to be a long and physically demanding 2 weeks. That is the reward for being a top 32 player. That is what months and months of stacking results at the highest level actually looks like in practice. And here's where the story gets really interesting. While Alex is sitting back in California with her bye, enjoying the fruits of that ranking climb, she was actually at Nike World Headquarters in Oregon just before the tournament. 3 players who have real history with her are fighting through qualifying rounds just to get into the same draw she walked straight into. These are not random opponents. These are players she has competed against directly, some of them very recently. The first one is Lulu Sun from New Zealand, currently ranked number 98 in the world. She's drawn against Australia's Madison Inglis in the first qualifying round, which means she needs to win 2 matches just to reach the stage Alex is already sitting at. 2 wins before she even gets to the starting line. Now, Lulu Sun is not some unfamiliar name to Alex. In fact, Sun beat Alex at the Jiangxi Open in China last September. It was a semi-final match. Sun came back from a set down, took control, and won 3-6, 4-4, 6-2. After beating Alex, she went on to win the entire tournament, beating the hometown favorite in the final. That was barely 6 months ago. 6 months ago, Lulu Sun was the one ending Alex's tournament run. She was the one lifting the trophy. She was ahead in that moment. And now, here they are at Indian Wells in early March, and Alex is a seeded player with a first-round bye, while Sun is grinding through qualifying trying to just make the main draw. The gap between them did not just open quietly, it blew open, and it happened in a very short time. The The second player is Mananchaya Sawangke from Thailand, currently ranked number 199 in the world. She's facing Switzerland's Rebecca Masarova in qualifying. The connection between her and Alex is even more recent. Sawangke played Alex in the gold medal match of the women's singles event at the 33rd Southeast Asian Games in Thailand back in December, just 3 months ago. It was a final. Sawangke took the first set 6-4 and looked like she was going to win it, but Alex turned it around completely, taking the next 2 sets 6-1, 6-2 to win the gold medal. 3 months later, Sawangke is ranked 168 spots below Alex and is trying to qualify for a tournament that Alex walks directly into without playing a single qualifying match. In 3 months, what was a competitive gold medal final has become 2 players in completely different zip codes of professional tennis. That is how fast things move at the top of this sport. It is fast, and it is unforgiving. And the third player is Talia Gibson from Canada, currently ranked number 109 in the world. She's in qualifying against Madison Brangle. Alex and Gibson have history too, though it goes back a bit further. Alex beat her back in 2023 at a W40 event in Palma del Rio in Spain, winning 3-6, 6-1. Back then, both of them were way further down the rankings, playing smaller events on the lower circuits, both just trying to build a career and stack enough results to keep moving up. Fast forward to today, and they're in very different places. Alex is at 31 and seeded at one of the biggest tournaments of the year. Gibson is at 109 and working through qualifying at that same tournament. Same starting point a few years ago. Very different paths since then.
Look at all 3 of those players together, and a pattern becomes clear. People who are at Alex's level, or even above her level, are now looking a long way up at where she is standing. She did not just pass them, she moved past them so quickly that the distance between them grew before most people even noticed. And to be clear, that is not meant as a knock on Sun, Sawangke, or Gibson. All 3 of them are talented players working hard at their careers. The point is just that it puts Alex's climb into sharp perspective. She is moving faster than almost everyone around her, and the gap keeps growing. When you look at the full picture of that climb through the numbers, it becomes even harder to wrap your head around. In 2020, her highest ranking for the year was 1,180. 1,180. She was essentially invisible on the WTA radar. Outside of junior tennis circles, almost nobody knew her name. In 2021, she climbed to 505. That is progress, but she was still deep in the lower levels of professional tennis, playing small events with limited prize money and limited coverage. In 2022, she got to 214. Now it was starting to look real. She was getting into bigger events, picking up experience, facing better players, but she was still a long way from the top 100. In 2023, she reached 189, improving tournament by tournament, grinding through results, but still outside that top 100 threshold that tends to get mainstream attention. In 2024, she got to 143. Solid progress, real improvement, but nobody is particularly surprised by a ranking of 143. Then 2025 happened, and that was when everything changed in a dramatic and very public way. She went into the Miami Open as a wild card, which means she was not ranked highly enough to get direct entry and had to be given a special invitation just to be in the draw. And then she beat Alina Avanesian, who is a former world number 1. She beat Yelena Ostapenko, a Grand Slam champion. She beat Madison Keys, another Grand Slam champion. 3 former Grand Slam champions in one tournament, and she did it as a wild card who was not even supposed to be there at that level. She reached the semifinals before losing to Jessica Pegula, but by that point, the damage was already done, in the best possible way. The tennis world had taken notice. She finished 2025 ranked at number 50 in the world, and now here we are in 2026 with her at 31 and still climbing. Her career record stands at 204 wins and 124 losses. Her total career prize money has reached $1,655,677, and her 2026 season is only just getting started. She has 10 wins and 6 losses across 6 tournaments so far this year, and the biggest events on the calendar are still ahead of her. The prize money and ranking points on offer at Indian Wells are worth understanding because the numbers are genuinely significant at this level. If Alex wins her first match in the round of 64, she picks up 10 ranking points in $24,334. That is a solid paycheck for a single match. But watch what happens as she goes deeper. Win in the round of 32, it becomes 35 points and $36,110. Reach the round of 16 and it jumps to 65 points and $61,865. A quarterfinal is worth 120 points and $115,720, which is over $100,000 for making the last 8 at one tournament. A semifinal brings 215 points and $193,645. A final appearance pays out 390 points and $340,190. And if she wins the whole tournament, that is 1,000 ranking points and $1,151,380. Over $1 million for one event. That is the level she's competing at now. And from a ranking standpoint, a deep run at Indian Wells could push her into genuinely new territory. Another quarterfinal like the one she had in Dubai would put her in serious contention for the top 25. A semifinal makes a top 20 ranking a real conversation, and she's only 20 years old. The math is favorable in a way that it simply wasn't even 2 years ago. There are real reasons to believe she can make a run here beyond just good feelings about her momentum. She has already proved she can beat the players who were in this draw. She beat Paulini, the world number 8 in Dubai just a few weeks ago. She beat Keys and Ostapenko in Miami last year. These are not lucky wins where someone had a bad day and she snuck through. These are matches where she outplayed accomplished, proven, elite athletes. She went on the court, executed her game plan, and won. That is a different thing from catching someone off guard. These players knew who she was, prepared for her, and she beat them anyway. The other thing worth noting is the shift in how she carries herself going into big events. A year ago, she was wide-eyed and grateful to be in the draw at all. Now she walks into these venues with a sense that she belongs there because the results have confirmed that she does. She is not hoping to compete with the best players in the world. She is expecting to. That mental shift is arguably as important as any technical improvement in her game, because at the top of professional tennis, the difference between players is often more psychological than physical. One more thing worth mentioning. Aldila Sutyati from Indonesia, ranked number 37 in the world, is also expected to be in the main draw at Indian Wells. That means the Philippines and Indonesia both have players competing in a WTA 1000 main draw at the same time. For Southeast Asian tennis, that is a meaningful moment. 2 players from the region sitting comfortably inside the top 40 and competing at the highest level of the tour simultaneously is not something that has happened often, and it's worth appreciating when it does. After Indian Wells, Alex heads straight to the Miami Open, which runs from March 17th to March 29th. That's another WTA 1000 event, and the name should ring a bell for anyone following her story. Miami is where everything exploded last year. That is where the wildcard upset 3 Grand Slam champions and made headlines around the world. She is going back to Miami with a year of additional experience, a number 31 ranking, the confidence that comes from beating top 10 players at major events, and the full weight of the most passionate fan base in professional tennis behind her. If she puts together a strong showing in Indian Wells and then backs it up with another deep run in Miami, a top 20 ranking is not a dream. The math makes it genuinely achievable. From 1,180 to 31, from qualifying rounds to a first-round bye at the 5th Grand Slam, from a wild card nobody was sure about to a seeded player that opponents are going to have to prepare for specifically, from grinding through small circuit events with her whole career in front of her to competing for over $1 million at a single tournament. She is 20 years old, and the biggest parts of her career are still ahead. The climb has been fast, it has been steep, and there is no sign of it slowing down.